Hey folks, in this episode we are going to deal with fencing. We have deer and bear trying to get into our property. You'll see later on this episode that a bear actually tries to break in as I'm building the fence. And I've come up with a really inexpensive way to deal with fencing. We're living in a world where the cost of materials is crazy expensive, and I found a solution, so let's get into it. So I don't know how many of you have kids, but I got kids. I got 4 of them. And as a father, as someone who loves my children, you always, for me anyway, I'm always feel pushed to give my kids something that will make them smile. You know, Daddy, can we have an ice cream? No. Please? Okay, And my son Gabriel, if you haven't noticed already, is a dreamer, an inventor, a thinker. It's awesome, but sometimes quite fatiguing. Mind is always spinning. He's an entrepreneur. He's got all these business ideas. Like, he's already been selling trees. Now he's making walking sticks he wants to sell. He's got this new idea for coal plungers that he wants to explore. And we were passing the other day a farm, like a yard, kind of a gravel pit. And there was a big sign saying free fishing nets. And he immediately, bing, went over to it. We drove down there, got the number, called the guy, and he's like, yep, I got free fishing nets, come take a look. So what it is, these commercial fishing boats, when their nets got too many holes in them or whatever, they get rid of their fishing nets. And this one company, who's a friend of his, says to the trucking guy, I will pay you to store the nets and deliver them, and I'll consider it. He's probably getting a tax write-off for it, kind of recycling instead of putting them in the dump. So I went to look at these nets, and they are not small. They are commercial grade, massive nets. I'll show you a pile. So this is what you get for free. This is one net. It's as tall as me, as wide as me. It is huge. And this one has big holes, which would be perfect for deer. This one has small holes, which Gabe thought would be perfect to string up in the trees and make a playground, suspended playground. And I was standing there, and a little voice in my head saying, only get one. One is plenty. But Gabe was like, Dad, we should get 2. So sure enough, I get 2. It takes a full-size tipper truck, full-size, like 10-ton truck, to deliver these 2 things. They're so heavy that my tractor can't pull it. And last night we were trying to make sense of these nets because they're kind of like a catcher's mitt. They're like this, like the boat pulls them, right? And it really, one side thought is that, man, the amount of fish, this is probably a small net, that the humans consume is pretty scary. The amount of fish you would catch in a net this big. This feels like 1/4 of an acre of net just on the ground here. I mean, it's layer upon layer upon layer. But to even kind of figure out how to cut a piece off was a royal pain in the butt, because it's really freaking heavy. It stinks like fish. And it's like a maze, trying to figure out the jigsaw puzzle of how this works and where do we cut it. So anyway, I cut one huge section here that we're going to pick up with the forks and maybe lay out on the field. And I have a sneaking feeling that I'm going to be having to pay to get rid of this at the end of the day, because it's just going to be too much. That said, we do have a huge perimeter fence of 5 acres, and a lot of it is in really rough shape. So I was down at the general farm store yesterday, and a roll of 4-foot high deer fence is like $350, which is insane. So this is free. So a headache to unroll it, but if I can cut that into 8-foot tall or 6-foot tall lengths, then I can use this to deer fence the perimeter of the fence for free. So that's always a good thing. But holy smokes, just kind of unraveling this is unbelievable. I had a thought that maybe what I can do is once I've got the piece that we need, I could here's my neighbor, country music. She's singing to it too. That's great. I could maybe bundle these up in manageable sizes and just get rid of them for people. Just say, hey, come and get a 50-foot by 8-foot piece of net for free, or maybe sell it. My son will probably sell it. It's a little side hustle. So yeah, kids, hey? So I went home. I went into Tara last night. I'm like, I can't believe what I just said yes to. Like I needed this, like I needed a hole in the head. Another project. I have warmed Gabe up to the fact that actually stringing it up in the forest is going to be down the road. It'll take quite a few people. I got to clear a bunch of bush. So, yeah. Glutton for punishment. Okay, so.
Well, Dad,
Do you think?
it wouldn't be too much of a problem. I could just come in here with the tractor, hitch it up, just pull it a bit straight.
I think we'll use the forks. Cut this. Dip. On that side. Blade. Section in there. There's 2 sections. Yeah, it gives it perspective.